UBI is coming and the boomers are scared. Nah, it's not just them, but it's probably mostly them. But, I've been saying for a long time that UBI is going to be a thing soon, and everyone's like, nah, that's crazy. And then everyone's like, oh, then we'll be a communist country. First of all, we pretty much already are a communist country in Canada here. And I don't really think democracy is even a real thing anymore either. Like, let's be honest. Do you really feel like you get a say in anything that goes on? Like, what's the actual democratic process? It's not what's going on here. Oh, check this out. Ready? Whoa! Oh! Okay. Gotta have a little fun when it's icy. Screw walking like a normal person. That's not what I do. That's how you fall. No. But what I want to say is this. Universal income is going to become a thing, and it's probably not going to be a bad thing unless you can't figure out what the hell to do with yourself. Like, for real. That's what I've been thinking for a long time, but especially now with the rise of AI, it's become evident to me that most jobs are fake. Most things are just created to make money. Because you have to pretend to do something to feel productive. And when everyone's going to get money to do nothing, you're going to have to do something. And in my opinion, it's the perfect opportunity to do something actually valuable for once. Like I'm saying with these fake jobs. Like, I'm sorry, but if you spend 40 hours a week just plucking numbers into a spreadsheet, how much value are you really contributing to the world? You know it. You don't feel in your heart like you go home from work every day. I'm a data analysis and goddamn am I proud of it. If you are, kudos. Good for you. But I doubt it. Most people, like accountants, lawyers even jobs that people would consider good jobs, people don't really feel like they're making a big difference. That's because in a lot of cases they're not. And now we can see that clearly with AI. Now we have computers to do all that stuff. We don't have to make humans slave away. Now, in my opinion, this is a very optimistic moment because now humans can actually do what they were meant to do. Create, make art, interact socially, help other people, clean up the environment, go for a walk and pick up some garbage or something. Because a lot of the time too, jobs, like I'm so good, I'm such a, like, just because you're good at your job does not make you a good person at all. Okay? Like, for example, if you're the best Nazi at the death camp, you are not a good person. It's like, oh yeah, I sure killed a lot of innocent people, made Hitler real proud. Good for you, I guess. Like, oh, you're such a hard worker, that's so great. And a lot of jobs are like this. Like, in BC recently, they go ahead and just shoot 300 ostriches or whatever it is. Now, if you're a police officer and you disagree with that, the right thing to do would to not be to kill the ostriches. But I know that a lot of people are brainwashed. And, well, it's my job. Or, the people above me know more than I do, so I just got to do what I'm told. The problem is the people above you don't know more than you do. Maybe they do. But in most cases, they don't. In a lot of cases, they know less because they're not the ones that are out there doing the work. So, this is also a good time for you to find a true identity. You know, this is going to become part of the future. Instead of asking, well, what do you do? And then everyone identifies with their job. Well, I'm an electrician. I'm a police officer. I'm a carpenter. It's like, now you're going to have to actually identify with what you really are, not just your job. And of course, the jobs that I just listed there are ones that are actually going to be around for a while, most likely. But I wouldn't depend on it, you know. What you should depend on is building a legitimate life for yourself and community, you know. I think there's just too much fear too. Everyone is so brainwashed. They think that, well, if everyone's not forced to work, the whole system's going to fall apart. Well, what really is the system that is going to fall apart? You know? The biggest thing is, in my opinion, is that the people that are still going to work are just going to have to make sure that they are properly compensated somehow or another. And it really doesn't seem that difficult to me, considering the fact that there's enough of us. There's way more people out there that aren't making enough money compared to people that are making too much. But the thing is too, is not only will, in my opinion, we have more space to negotiate as far as labor goes, because in the future some things will not be able to be done by machines, most likely, and those are going to become valuable jobs. So if you have a super valuable skill, don't sell yourself short. That's basically it. But here's part of it too. If all of a sudden everyone's out of a job, maybe they'll have to actually take care of themselves. Maybe they'll have to actually get food for themselves somehow, whether it's farming or foraging or trading a skill, building something and trading for food like it used to be. People are going to start to realize that it's you that keeps you alive, not your boss, not the government, etc. And honestly, the main point of this video is just be optimistic. Like, why are people convinced that it's going to fall apart? Because I think they're listening to what the narrative wants them to think. Or maybe UBI actually is the evil thing that's going to take down society. But why would they want to do that? Why would the government want to willingly give away money? It's hard to say. All I'm saying is it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter, because realistically, the economy could crash at any point. The world could end at any point. So why be afraid of it? And like I said, instead, it's actually just the perfect moment to take advantage of your life. Develop your art. Like, this is the beauty of it too. If now we can not force people to work just to get by, maybe they can develop their skills and, like I said, contribute more value to the world. Because some people are just working some shitty labor job just to get by. And meanwhile, they're like one of the best painters that's out there right now. But nobody knows, because they don't have the time or the resources to do it. You see? I kind of think humanity goes in sort of cycles. And we're at a turning point that maybe we've already been at in history, It seems to me that the people that built, say, the pyramids and incredible monolithic structures like that, for example, it wasn't really perceived as work to them because they're perfect. Like, those things are art, and those people that dedicated their lives to it, at least that seems evident, right? Like, they're perfect. They're beyond the capabilities of what we can do today. But maybe that's because we're wasting so much of our time chasing fake things instead of putting value into fake numbers in a fake bank account. Like, the money that we have in our society doesn't even exist. It's all evolving off of a imaginary system, essentially. But if we realize instead that everyone has intrinsic value, that humans are made for more than being slaves to themselves. And I also think that if more people can take the time to develop themselves, we won't have to worry as much about things like destroying the environment, because people are going to be more conscious of it and they'll have more time to care. And very importantly, hopefully, people will spend more time outside and in nature instead of underneath of fluorescent lights in an office. Suddenly, people are healthier, people are happier. And honestly, this isn't like, this vision of the future too is not just because, now we all get paid not to work. That's not it at all. Because that's the thing too, is when people aren't forced to work, they want to work, they'll do a way better job. And I'm imagining that if you choose to work, like I said, then you just have to make sure those people are compensated. But part of the compensation is going to be the fact that they want to do it. And I guess, I don't see how it would be bad, for example, in this, I'm just thinking right now, because I know people would want to argue, like, well, if there's no incentive to be a doctor because you don't get paid way more money. First of all, hopefully they do get paid way more money, which I imagine that'll be the case. But I'm also hoping that more people, since they're not forced to do things, will want to do what they feel called to do. And if you feel called to be a healer, a doctor, or anything, like if you feel called to be a teacher, then it's less likely that you're going to even complain about how much money you make in the first place. Like, one of my teachers growing up, I think it was during a strike, a bunch of the teachers were striking for more money, as they do. And one student asked my one math teacher, like, why aren't you taking part in this? Because I'm pretty sure it was he didn't protest or anything, and he was a teacher that always did extra time. Like, every lunch hour, every after school, he'd be helping kids, tutoring kids, with really no extra incentive other than the fact that he loved it. He loved teaching, and he loved mentoring students, right? And so, to the point here, the student asked him, like, do you feel like you don't get paid enough? And he's like, no, I get paid more than enough. I'm really happy with how much money I make, actually. And because also another time too, someone asked him, because he was talking about how when he was in university, he took all these insane courses, like, I don't know, mechanical this and that, physics 500, I don't know, whatever the hardest like math courses are. And he was like the top of his class in almost every case. And so people are like, well, why didn't you become like some sort of genius scientist? Or why didn't you like invent something to make yourself super rich? And he's like, well, that was never my goal. I just wanted to be a teacher. And like I said, he loved it and he was happy with it. And he actually, in my opinion, if it matters at all, which it does because you're watching this, he was making pretty good money, because he was making like probably almost, if not at least twice as much as the average salary. And he's doing a job that he loved. So that's essentially my point, is the fact that people hopefully in the near future are not going to be forced to work jobs that they hate and they don't feel like they're contributing positively. It's just going to give everyone a great opportunity to find their purpose, to find, or not even to find, it doesn't have to be like, oh, this was my purpose I've been searching for my whole life, but to just do something more meaningful. As literally something as simple as there's a young family and they're under the impression, or they're in the situation that they figure they can't afford to not work. Both of them have to work, you know. All of a sudden now, maybe the wife or the father, whatever, one of them can go on the universal basic income. Now all of a sudden they can raise their own children and have a positive impact on their child's life, instead of letting their child be raised by the government and their teachers, and probably worst of all, the internet. You know, that's just the point. And I don't know if like that's what people are scared of. I think that's what people are scared of in actuality, is that people are going to have to think for themselves, you know, and you're not going to be able to put fake meaning into a useless job. You're not going to be like, oh, I'm such a productive person, even though I'm super fat and I'm rude and I'm doing everything wrong, but I show up to work every day and I put those numbers in, you know, like, boss is happy with my work. So everyone shows up to work. Almost everybody shows up to work. So so you're special? No. Like, and you know that. And you're scared because now you can't identify with that job anymore. Now you have to find actual meaning. And I think it's all related to, as well, the spiritual enlightenment that's happening. People are waking up. Like, all these things are coming to fruition because of the collective consciousness. Like I said, there's no real logic for the people in charge to want to just give money away. Not necessarily. But this has been something that's been coming for a long time. And I know everyone's scared of this probably too, because of communism, because of socialism. But communism and socialism are not as simple as, everyone gets paid, or everyone doesn't have to work, or something like this. Like, there is no one unifying idea when it comes to most ideologies, you know. And I think you can look at it this way. Yeah, communism has always failed. Socialism essentially has always failed, except for in some rare cases. What are the cases that are exceptions? Like in Scandinavia, for example. There's a bunch of things with that, though. Scandinavia, if you've ever been there, it's an extremely high trust society. Like, literally, when I was in Scandinavia and I was traveling there, I could just leave my suitcase or my bags. I could literally leave my wallet and my passport just like on a table in the like public train station. And instead of people taking it, they would take it and then they would go bring it to the lost and found so I could find it. You know? Or like I leave my bag, instead of someone just stealing it, they go, "Oh, hey, you left your bag over there." You know? Like, you have to understand, one of the reasons why their socialism works, in my opinion, is because they have such a high trust society, so that the systems work, because most people aren't trying to cheat them. You understand? But what I'm getting at here is that's like an evolution, though, of socialism, right? It didn't just work the first time. So, yeah, communism, essentially, we know it doesn't work. It won't work. And anyone who's trying to, like, bring out old failed ideas is being foolish, but it doesn't mean that we haven't learned the lessons that were necessary in order to further evolve our society. That's my point. In other words, UBI, Universal Basic Income, might just be a little tiny part of what our society is becoming, and it's not devolving into communism. It's more like maybe that's one aspect of socialism that we can apply to whatever the new system is going to be. Because like I said, let's take this for example. Democracy doesn't exist anymore. Like, do you think we live in a democracy? You're ignorant. We don't. There's no democracy. Democracy is a term invented by the Greeks, like what, thousands of years ago, in a time where basically all the rich men who had all the say, I'm assuming, they would just go vote and it was all up to them and they all got their say and it was fair in their eyes. That's kind of the way it is now, but the problem is there's still only 20 rich men, but now there's 6-7 billion of the other people that don't get a say, right? But like, we still call it democracy. It's not even close. It's completely just evolved, and that's fine. Like, my point isn't necessarily that, oh, like, we live in a terribly tyrannical society. Not entirely. But it's like we integrated a lot of the tyranny from the other forms of government that we had tried over the centuries. You see, like, we're just learning as humans, perhaps. But it's also not hard to believe that we've been here before as people, because I feel very strongly, I almost guarantee, that the ancient societies didn't really work in the traditional sense, because they weren't trying to collect money or anything. Like, that's why there's actually some truth to the stories of El Dorado, for example, I think, because for one, there were these extremely advanced civilizations in South America that were wiped out and gone without a trace, essentially. And apparently the reason why that myth exists is because the first time some explorers went there, they found these advanced civilizations and they had all this wealth, and when they came back, the next time it was all gone. So it became this lost legend, but maybe it was really there the whole time, but it fell apart because of disease and so on. But I really think that the way they were able to build these pyramids and stuff mostly had to do with the fact that they were a very spiritually and psychologically advanced civilization. Like, how else could they have had, most likely they had, there's no way, right, in theory, that one man built the pyramid, or that one man carved, say, like this temple out of a mountain. It had to have been many, many people, you would think. It's the only way that makes sense. But how did they work together so well? How can they depend on everyone to do everything perfectly? I don't think it was fear-based. I don't think it was money-based. I think you could go as far as saying they could communicate with each other telepathically. In a sense, like they were all in union with God, essentially, with the Spirit. They're all unified in the collective consciousness. You see? And by doing that, they're able to work as one in a positive way. And maybe you think that's crazy, but that's exactly what's happening right now in society as it is. That's why I think they want everyone to be so scared. That's why they pump all this crap through your algorithm. Not my algorithm, because I don't interact with crap, but lots of people do. And they want you to stay in that fear state because that's beneficial to them. You're part of the matrix. You're part of the collective consciousness. But the collective consciousness was hijacked by fear, by dark intentions, dark entities, essentially. And once again, it's flipping. So, basically, the moral of the story is whether UBI is good or not is going to be up to you and me and everybody else. You know? This is a great time to be alive. That's all there is to it. And the point is, especially, just be positive. What are you afraid of? It's too much fear. Stop being so afraid. And take things as they come. And you be the best you. That's all you can do. Alright, well, thanks for watching. If you're still watching at this point, then thank you. Apparently, you must find me interesting. And I appreciate that. Or you just agree or completely disagree with what I'm saying. Either way, I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next one.